Hello and welcome to our High Probability LaunchPad training for people who are enrolled in High Probability currently or who have taken the High Probability class or graduates, but it's been a long time and you need a refresher course a little bit on the High Probability concepts. My name is Richard Himmer and I'm the owner of Pure Blue, and we're the people who wrote the software for High Probability. And if you do want more information, you can click on our website at pureblue.com, as it's shown here, and go to the High Probability Launchpad section, where it will give you an overview of explanations on how it works. And this will give you a brief idea in writing in more of a static fashion of the different aspects and benefits and features of high probability. Now, as you get more in depth into the high probability terminology and the culture, this portion of conditions of satisfaction will have better meaning or deeper meaning for you, but this is a very good place to go to get an understanding if this is the kind of software you want to help you take your high probability prospecting to a level that cannot be achieved without the software and technology. So let me get into the actual software for you and give you an idea of how it works. I'm going to be detailed in the different concepts of the software without going into how calls are made. That is done in the other video that is for people who are graduated. So as you start taking the class, you will probably want to look at that software to give you a better idea. This is the main board that handles all of the information on the calls. So this is where you will record the phone calls you make. This is where the statistics are recorded of the phone calls that have been made, and you can see it gives you a history of that. The settings is where you go to insert all of the data that you need to in order to make the phone calls. For example, this is a training class we're doing right now, and so this is a track called High Probability Class 140 that we're working off of. This is the basic offers that will be made, and here are students in that particular class and their various offers that we've gone over in training, as a matter of fact, today. So the very first one is an offer that I made that actually we had Jacques do today. Now if I wanted to add an offer, I would click create an offer in this track, and the template is set up so I can start typing in my information. If I want to edit a current offer, for example this one, I would be able to go in here and edit the offer. Now this will make sense to you as you go through the training, but the concepts in here are paramount, along with the restatement of the offer that will be explained to you in the training. So this is the basics of how the information is put in there, and you've got other areas of editing which we'll go into greater detail in another video. But for now, that gives you the overview of the three main features of the call board. Now what you've got is in call today, this is where 389 prospects are sitting that I can call right now. So these are the people I talk to. Now watch what happens if I were to be calling Paul and he were to hang up on me or to say no. Watch that he will disappear from the screen, and he moved into temp disqualified. I don't know if you saw it kind of lighten up real quick, but remember I was calling Paul and here he is. He said no, and so it gives me the result of the call. So that's how this is working. Now if I set an appointment with someone, this is where that person would go, along with the details of the appointment. If it's a bad number or they ask to be removed from the list, they go into the do not call, and there they will stay permanently. Here's where you can add a prospect, you can edit a prospect, you can reprioritize the list, and you can do a search for a prospect. So you can look for somebody in there that you've spoken to. Remember, you typed in a few notes, and that'll give you a chance to go and find them. Down on the left hand side gives you all of the different actions that you're going to take. If you call Erin and she doesn't answer, you click unanswered. If you call Greg and he hangs up on you, he now moves into the do not, or into the temporary disqualified. If the gatekeeper is in the way, you click on gatekeeper. If they say no, or you want an email address, if they set an appointment, High Probability actually sets up a wizard so you can actually dialogue with them and walk right through setting an appointment. Exactly as you will be trained on, including the appointment, the time, what to say, when to say it, along with the notes and how to set that appointment. If they want information on an email, you're going to be able to give them that information. If you're a B2B business, so you're calling businesses, you may also set this up for the gatekeeper. An email offer can go, or an email can go out, or you can send an actual offer through the gatekeeper to the prospect you're trying to get a hold of. So this eliminates a lot of extra time, because by the time you get off the phone, you will have sent that email and you'd have copied yourself. Along the bottom part is how we teach you to respond. So if you're talking to B2C, so you're just calling consumers, these are the different 11 responses that you'll learn in the prospecting class on pages 12 through 19 that you'll be trained on. So if you call somebody and they don't say yes or they don't say no, but they say something like that, maybe, or I'm not sure, tell me why. Here are the areas that you'll be trained on, and it takes you right through the different responses, and it's in the order that the book provides. So this is only thing you really need to remember and get familiar with in the software is where these answers are. After about an hour to 2 hours of time in prospecting, you'll become very comfortable. So many of these responses you'll have memorized, but we do not recommend you base everything on memory. Try to stay on script. One of the problems you have is when you get comfortable ad-libbing, oftentimes you get away from the script and you don't know exactly why things aren't going as well as you wanted them to go. So that's an overview of the software. You've got all the abilities to do everything that High Probability trains you, except you do it in less than half the time, and you get a much more efficiencies of when you work through the software. After someone's been trained and is a graduate of High Probability prospecting, they can average between 50 and 60 phone calls per hour. The software is now pushing us into the 80s and 90 calls per hour, simply because of the economies that it provides using technology. If you have more questions, feel free to go back to the website, do a little research here, and see if you can get them answered. You may also, before I do that, you may also give me a call at this following number, 888-851-0550, and or email me at richard@peerblue.com. Have a good night.